Part 2 of how to use a digital multimeter, measuring voltage. This is pretty simple, so go ahead and keep your cables in the same spot as last time and set it to DC voltage on 2, since we're going to be measuring a AA. AA's have about 1.5 volts, and this one you can see has about 1.6 because it's new. If you do measure them in series though, and the voltage stacks to be beyond that range of the 2, what will happen? Well, it'll simply show a 1. To be able to overcome this, make sure that you set it to the appropriate range, in this case DC at 20. Now if we're measuring some of the hobby batteries, like from a drill, you can see it has this symbol, which happens to be the same symbol on your DMM, or digital multimeter, for DC voltage. Now if we wanted to measure this battery, go ahead and put the negative terminal, or black, in the negative and positive in the positive. You can see it still measures about 20 volts. But what if you're measuring an unknown battery, like this 18650 lithium ion? Well, it's pretty small, so it's probably not going to be 20, and it turns out it's about 3.5. Now moving back on from DC to alternating voltage, if you wanted to say measure the voltage in your home, right away be very careful about this, make sure you insert both prongs at once using only one hand. Reason being for this, you ask? Well, it's simply so that you don't make a complete circuit through your body and risk electrocuting yourself. As you can see, this is about 120 volts because I'm here in the US. Now let's delve a little bit deeper. What exactly is voltage? Well, voltage is measured in volts, named after Alessandro Volta. When was it named that? Good question. Back in 1881. And voltage is best thought of through the analogy of pressure in a water pipe, I feel, so that's the example I'm going to be using here. And you're going to be looking at a buildup of positive charge on one plate and negative charge on another. And if we delve a little bit deeper, the two main types you're going to be dealing with are a DC voltage, which is like a constant push or pressure, like say in a balloon, and AC voltage, which is kind of like a push and a pull that you might see in, say, an engine, where you have a piston that's going up and down and still generating work in this fashion. But the bigger question here I'd like you to ask is, how does one acquire voltage? Well, I'd normally say just grab a battery, and then that leads you to the question of, what is a battery? Well, in the modern era, batteries are a little more complicated than they were when they started out, and if you take one apart, you'll see that. So if we go back, a battery is basically just an electrolyte solution of an acid, in this case a lemon, and two different colored metals, two different types of metal, one that is going to be donating and one that is going to be taking electrons. And please notice here, whenever I swap the cables around to be on the different colored metals from what they were previously, the voltage flips from a positive to a negative. Reason being is the dime is donating electrons and the penny is taking electrons, hence the terms anode and cathode come into play on this. But anyway, big robotics out. Love you guys, believe in you, you got this. Stay curious.